As our great president Ronald Reagan used to say, here we go again. And of course, ironically, Ronald Reagan was a Republican. But here we go again. The Republicans on the verge of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We've seen President Trump's lead go down, basically plummet, just in 2.5 weeks with regard to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is an empty suit, to say the least. And again, I don't advocate who to vote for. I'm just giving you my assessment of why the Republican Party, frankly, are a bunch of losers. They've been unable to articulate a message. The only thing you get is out of Fox News. And of course, that's preaching to the choir. It's not reaching most of America. At the same time, President Trump is shooting himself in the foot with unnecessary comments about Kamala Harris with regard to her sex, with regard to her intelligence and everything else. Deal with the issues. He is playing into the hands of the feminists, frankly, that hate Trump and will certainly push women to vote for Kamala Harris. And of course, naturally, it's likely to happen in any event because she's a Black Indian woman. So there we are again. If you think you can depend on the Republican Party, if you're rocking back, as some people say, some people even in my family, let the Republicans do it, my extended family, not my blood family, and do nothing and just sit there at the couch watching Fox News and drink and carrying on and having a good time thinking, I'm retired, I'll be dead anyway by the time this country goes under. And if you're young or middle-aged, then you better be serious about what's going on right now too, because this country does not have a long longevity left, not particularly if the leftists and the socialists and the communists and the atheists through Kamala Harris walk through the door of the White House yet again. The country will not survive another 4 years. Now, what are we doing at Freedom Watch? Again, I don't tell people who to vote for. You can probably guess who I vote for. On the other hand, we are bringing actions in Florida to have Kamala Harris kept off the ballot because she participated in the fraud in 2020, running interference for Joe Biden, saying that he was mentally and physically competent as president. That was a fraud, a massive fraud, one of the biggest in American history for that matter. And under Florida election laws, me as a Florida citizen and voter and taxpayer can bring that action. So I brought the action. And I also sued Biden, this is for Sheriff Joe Arpaio, for defaming him as a convicted felon, which he's not. He was found liable for a misdemeanor. These are the kinds of things that go on today. We at Freedom Watch are looking for ways to bring about justice. We previously procured an indictment and a conviction and a sentencing of 20 years against Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden for bribery in communist China, Ukraine, and Russia. And of course, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who we call Dr. Mengele, for what he did with regard to COVID in sending the seeds of COVID, a SARS virus, over to a biolab, which does bioweapons in Wuhan, China, which gave rise to the COVID pandemic, among other things, and then allegedly profiting off it. He was indicted, convicted, and he got life imprisonment. So watch what we do. Watch what we do with regard to the attempted assassination of President Trump. I believe that directly or indirectly, the Biden-Harris regime was behind that, either an inside job where they created the condition for others to do it, like an Iranian hit squad that was sent to the United States, admittedly, a couple of weeks before that fateful rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. And you can believe that the other rallies of President Trump, not just that one, there were no adequate security. The Biden-Harris administration wanted to create the condition, I firmly believe, and the evidence will show, and we're conducting a citizens grand jury investigation where we'll seek indictments and convictions and trials and sentences for the guilty. I believe they were creating the condition to have President Trump killed because at that point, they were far behind in the polls. But now, of course, the Republicans have shot themselves in the foot, and they're destined, unless there's some major event, to most likely lose the presidential election this fall on November 5th. That's the date, technically, of the election. Early voting will begin very shortly. Harris has a significant advantage. She's got the leftist media behind her, and basically the rightist media does not reach to any great extent the independents or others that will vote for her. So the moral to this story is this: do not depend on a political messiah. Do not depend on President Trump to bail this country out. We have to do it for ourselves. We have to rise up now. So join me at Freedom Watch at freedomwatchusa.org. Contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We are your real Justice Department, not the Gestapo of the Biden-Harris regime that wants to spend its time prosecuting peaceful January 6 protesters, when in fact we sit on the verge of a nuclear holocaust, and of course the southern border with terrorists running across, likely to cause more terrorism in this country, just to name a few of the severe risks that we now face. So I ask you, join our Justice League, contribute to our cause. We need more lawyers, we need more paralegals, we need more office space, we need to file more cases, because you have no protector in the Republican Party. They're now poised to blow it yet again, as they blew congressional elections a few years ago and otherwise. The Republican Party is a fundraising machine. It's the equivalent of a racketeering enterprise, promises things, whether it's balancing the budget or anything else with healthcare, trying to reform that with the Obamacare, or for that matter, even giving us the clarion calls on what happened in Ukraine and what is happening now in the Middle East. The Republican Party, and I'm a registered Republican, the establishment of the Republican Party are a bunch of frauds, and they did not protect us. So please rise up and contribute to our cause. Become a member, become a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. God bless you. God bless America. God bless all of the members of your family and your loved ones. It's time to rise up before it's too late. I'll be back tomorrow with another podcast. And remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves.